On to vanilla cake recipe number 3. So this has all the same ingredients, where we have cake flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Mix it all up, leave it aside. We're going to do the reverse creaming method. 3 eggs, and we have our vanilla, we have our 2 ounces of oil, and we have our buttermilk, 8 ounces of buttermilk. So beat up really well, and then we're going to set this aside. We're going to start the reverse method for the flour. Instead of regular butter, we are adding in brown butter, 1 chunk at a time. Butter was really soft, so I'm spatulaing it in a little bit to help it along before I turn on the beater. Okay, see if we can get this not to be one big mess. We want it to be crumbled. Let's see how it comes. So I'm doing it on low. I'm not going to do it on number 2. Just to make sure. So let the brown butter melt it too much. So this is the problem here. Set out room temperature. And if your house temperature is too hot, you just have to watch it. When room temperature, you just have to watch your butter, especially brown butter. It softens up really quickly compared to regular butter. Okay, so it looks crumbly enough to me. Now we can start adding the liquid. Looks good. Okay, let's do the squeeze test, yeah. And doing the reverse method. Now this is with buttermilk and brown butter. Those are the 2 differences that we have in here. So we're gonna don't put in all the liquid. And now we're gonna beat it up on high with buttermilk. We're gonna do it for 3 minutes. So that's at number 4. We're going to do that at a minute, and then the last 2 minutes we're going to do right now is 12:15. Then we'll watch the time. Okay, a minute cooked. We want to do on high. See with the brown butter, you see all those specks, like vanilla bean specks. It's going to smell so good. Let's scrape our side. Don't forget inside the get the other side. of the liquid. And we're going to scrape the side, make sure everything's done. Now let's beat it for another minute and we should be good. Even less than a minute. Put the piece off here for the wax. The big one go right here. So that way you can lift up the cake easier. And prepare this for right here. Now you want to mix the dough up nicely. With the brown butter, didn't fluff as much because you don't have as much batter. We're going to do the cupcake. This is the vanilla cake recipe number 3. It's in the oven now. I'm going to give it 15 minutes. Wow, it looks so good. The brown butter really fluff up. Oh, look at that. I gave it more batter. See? It bounced back. Very good. This one. Here we go. Yeah, bounced back nicely right there. This needs a little bit more time. The cupcake came out, no problem. And the cake, this one is a little less batter, but this one was in there for an extra 4 minutes. Same with this. It's around 19 minutes for the bigger one. Okay, we'll wait till it cool and then we'll do a taste test. A comparison. Recipe number 3. The difference in this recipe is I use brown butter instead of regular butter. And instead of milk, I use buttermilk. And instead of cake flour, I use regular flour. So you can see there's a little dome here. So it fluff up the is better than the cake flour because, you know, it's not as tender. And I can feel it's more sturdy. So regular flour is good for if you're doing wedding cake or any carving cakes. So let's taste. Definitely not as tender, you know, when I'm feeling it. But looking at the crumb is still good. So let's taste it. It's still very tender, smooth, but the structure, you can see that the structure is hardier. You can see it right here. The only thing is that you're going to have to level your cake because it has a tiny dome here on top. And the brown butter. That's amazing flavor. Definitely. So if you want a white cake, because the brown butter will give it more like a light beige color. And has a little speck of brown butter in it. So it's delicious. I think this is my favorite one. It's the brown butter. All 3 recipes are side by side. So this is recipe number 1. And recipe number 1 has the cake flour, butter, oil, and milk. Recipe number 2. This one, the only change is that it has buttermilk instead of milk. Still has cake flour. And recipe number 3, where it has the brown butter, has the regular flour, and has the buttermilk. 3 items will change. And my favorite is number 3. So tell me in the comment below if you make it, which one you would like. And you can see that from far away here, number 3 is the highest. So fluff up the most is because get the layers closely. It's still a little bit taller. When coming out of the oven, it did fluff up the best out of cake flour and regular flour. So regular flour was the best. Alright, Mom's gonna help me taste this because I can't decide which one. Okay, Mom, go ahead. That's my recipe number 1.
Light, fluffy, very tasty. Just the right consistency for sweetness. I like this one. Number 2. Very light. I like this one also. It's light.
You said the first one was light too.
Yes,
Can you tell the difference?
Can't hardly tell the difference because both of them are very fluffy, very light, very tasty. It melts in your mouth. Very good.
Yeah, that one melts in my mouth too.
Very good.
You need a glass of water, Ma?
No, I don't need no water.
Okay, number 3.
Love this taste. Almost like a nutty taste.
It has brown butter.
Very good.
So what's your favorite? Start with what's your number 1?
It's very difficult to tell because all of them are good.
If you had to pick one.
If I had a choice. It would be the brown butter.
Yeah, that's my choice too.
The brown butter. Very good.
But texture-wise, this one doesn't melt in your mouth.
It melts in my mouth.
Can you tell different of the texture? Because this one's made with regular flour and not cake flour.
This one is good. It's good. The texture. It's not as smooth as the other 2.
Okay.
But it's smooth.
Yeah, because
it's
of
good.
the regular flour and not cake flour.
Very good.
All right, thank you for your help, Mom. Now you decide, viewer, which one you want to bake. Bon appetit.